In 1984, epidemiologist Anna faced a devastating setback when a mistake during vaccine trials resulted in the loss of a research partner. The trials had moved forward without proper preliminary or animal testing, and the weight of that decision left Anna consumed by guilt. Overwhelmed by the consequences, she attempted to shut down the project altogether. However, Colonel Morozov intervened before she could abandon the mission. He reminded her that the troops stationed in Africa were depending on her work, and that giving up now would render her friend's sacrifice meaningless. Months passed. On New Year's Eve, Anna celebrated with loved ones who praised her for the remarkably swift creation of a vaccine. Their dinner was interrupted by an urgent call from Morozov, summoning her for a critical operation. A catastrophic event had occurred at the Kola super deep borehole. The facility was due to be sealed within 24 hours following mysterious sounds that preceded a series of unexplained disappearances. The base had gone offline, and suspicion fell on the lead researcher for hiding information about a strange, unidentified disease. That's why Morozov needed Anna. He promised her full recognition for any discoveries and offered her the role of director at the Military Biological Defense Institute. Motivated by the opportunity and the stakes, Anna agreed and began preparations for her departure. The following morning, Anna joined Morozov and was introduced to a special military unit headed by Major Sergei and his trusted second-in-command, Igorov. Upon arriving at the station, they immediately encountered a crisis. A distressed scientist was on the loose, clutching a grenade and threatening to blow it up if brought aboard the helicopter. Moments later, a strange high-pitched sound began ringing in the team's ears. Though unsettling, they were fortunate no one was harmed. Although Sergei is making fun of Anna for her accent and attempting to determine where it comes from, Anna does not waste any time and immediately goes to check the body of the scientist in order to collect a sample. As soon as Anna places the lid on the test tube, the sample, on the other hand, begins to turn into dust. In addition, she is unable to ignore the strange red glow that appears on the body. The scientist went insane as soon as he reached the surface, and he was so powerful that not even 3 soldiers could stop him from doing so, according to one of the guards at the station. In light of the fact that the remaining members of the staff are currently being evacuated, Anna goes to collect samples from them before they depart. One of the men tells her that the disease is a lie and that everyone is dead down there. He also tells her that she should run back to her family. All the miners seem fine, but the one with the scar has seen something frightening, and Anna is worried it may be more than a disease. In the following moments, Anna, Morozov, and a group of soldiers, along with the chief scientist Kuznetsov and Dr. Grigorev, make their way into the station. Anna makes an effort to inquire about this mysterious infection. However, Grigorev is unwilling to provide her with any information because he believes that everyone is present for a reason other than what they are supposed to be. He wants help more than necessary to get a sample and evacuate the survivors safely. Grigorev does not provide an answer to Anna's question about why he kept the survivors locked up in the first place, but Anna is curious about the reason. As soon as the group reaches the elevator, Grigorev must be extremely careful when he enters the access code. This is because, as a safety precaution, if he makes a mistake 3 times, the elevator will crash. The party begins its descent into the world's deepest man-made hole, and thankfully, he succeeds on the 3rd attempt. In spite of this, the brakes do not respond when they reach their floor. As a result, Grigorev depressurizes the elevator and puts on an oxygen mask while the rest of the group passes out. A few moments later, when they finally come to, Grigorev has already departed with the elevator key. They appear to have arrived at the facility's resort, where staff spend most of their time. A second elevator leads to the main research level, but they need the key to activate it. The main research level is even lower down. The initial evacuation left behind only 2 staff members, Engineer Nikolai and Dr. Kira. There used to be a constant influx of people in this area, but now they find only 2 other staff members. Kira brings them to the laboratory so that Anna can take samples from both of them and examine them under the microscope. This enables Anna to conclude that neither of them has an infection. They were left in this area on purpose because it is free of any possible signs of the disease, so they will need to look for a proper source somewhere else. Grigorev seems to have meticulously planned their escape, deliberately leaving them here. Grigorev reveals himself to Anna to ask her to lead the team back to the surface through the shafts and save them while they can. He firmly believes that the safety of people should always come first. Grigorev manages to evade capture by utilizing the elevator, leaving behind only a bloodstain on the door. Anna places a call to the soldiers, requesting that they take him into custody. Since Grigoriev sealed the shaft, Igorov's soldiers will have to force it open, and they decided to send this group of soldiers. The doors of the shaft suddenly opened on their own, so the soldiers put on protective suits to withstand the extremely high temperatures of the lower levels. After walking through the heat to reach them, lab assistant Olga appeared to be feeling rather ill. The soldiers come to her rescue and transport her to the laboratory before proceeding down the shaft. Despite her claims of being cold, Olga is also suffering from a fever, prompting Anna to ask her some questions before initiating checkup. However, Olga has no recollection of what occurred down there. Anna makes a disturbing discovery on Olga's back when she removes her gown. Olga claims that the disgusting mold-like growths covering her back do not hurt, even when Anna makes a cut to take a sample. Anna puts the sample under the microscope and discovers that it is a cellular parasite, which is a highly virulent form of mold. Fungi and mold are the forms of life that have received the least amount of research, and the fact that this particular form of life is unknown is sufficient for Morozov to conclude this operation and begin his journey back. Additionally, the soldiers report that they have discovered some kind of life in the lower level. Over the course of more than an hour, Nikolai starts working on the elevator system in an effort to force it to return. Once again, Sergei tries to contact his team, but they no longer answer their walkie-talkies, indicating a dangerous situation. Grigoriev tells them through the speakers that he had hoped they would escape through the shafts, but they have left him no choice. When the area begins to shake around Anna as a result of the explosion, Grigoriev proceeds to set off a bomb in order to seal them all inside the facility. At the same time, he asks for forgiveness. Olga's body starts to glow in the laboratory as she gradually loses control of her actions, causing the glass to explode and eventually attacking Kira. While this is going on, Nikolai determines that the explosion caused damage to the pressure pump, which will ultimately result in the collapse of the facility within the next hour. Sergei gives him a punch because he is so focused on finding a way to escape that he cares nothing about the soldiers who are trapped in the lower levels. But Morozov agrees that returning would be too risky for those soldiers, so they will evacuate through the shafts. Sergei and Anna go to the laboratory to retrieve Olga, and when they arrive, they discover a very unpleasant surprise. The entire workplace is covered with mold. Mold covers the entire laboratory, and Olga, half melted to the floor but still alive, lies beneath it. On the other side of the door, Morozov does not care that Anna is surrounded by contamination without any protection, and he orders her to take samples regardless of the surroundings. Olga starts to release a cloud of spores as she and Sergei get closer to each other, which causes Sergei to flee the room and Anna to step back and grab a mask in order to prevent herself from breathing in the spores. She meets Kira, who, like Olga, has been infected and mutated, and she passes away when her bones suddenly poke out of her body. However, Anna is able to locate a fire extinguisher despite the fact that she is attempting to leave the room and experiences another guilt-associated hallucination when she slips. She uses it to clean the air around her so that she can open the door without the mold escaping, and then after she has closed it once more, she asks Nikolai to use the extinguisher on her body so that she can be disinfected. Anna goes to check on Sergei after that, but it is too late. He has already contracted the infection and has lost his sight. Kuznetsov explains that this mysterious mold is similar to the fungus that controls an ant and causes it to return to its nest, so that it can release its spores and infect everyone else. Anna requests that Morozov speak to her in private, so that she can share her discovery with him. Due to the cold, the mold cannot survive in the upper permafrost and has been using human bodies. While Morozov returns to the surface and calls a rescue team, she wants to stay with Sergei to search for the remaining survivors. However, with the facility closing in 5 hours and no help arriving, this option becomes unfeasible. While Morozov orders everyone to get dressed to leave, Igorov tells them not to open the door, even if it's for them. After a lengthier argument between them, Kuznetsov advises them to open the door, since this is their only chance at survival. The first thing they do is send 3 soldiers down the shaft to investigate, but 2 of them quickly return after firing at something large that attempted to attack them, but they were unable to differentiate. Right before the group closes the door, the 3rd soldier returns without an arm as well. Then he puts an end to everything with a knife, and finally, he dies. Anything that is currently located in the shaft is now aware of their presence, and as a result, it starts slamming the door in an attempt to escape. As they reach the back of the area, they see the elevator they were waiting for. In the hopes that the emergency brakes will be able to hold, Nikolai starts working on a way to shut down it. The mysterious entity has finally broken down the doors, and Sergei's body begins to glow. He is aware that he does not have much time left, so he decides to remain behind with his men in order to attempt to stop it. As the elevator begins to descend, Anna, Nikolai, Kuznetsov, and Morozov all enter it and squeeze together tightly. Because the pressure makes it difficult for Nikolai to reach the brake lever, Anna is forced to uproot herself from her seat and perform the task on her own. The elevator arrives safely at the lowest level, which is colder than they anticipated, thanks to the fact that she pulls it just in time. Frost covers all the rooms, and a scientist recorded that the mold is cold sensitive and that the ice age must have kept it underground for all these years. This thing has already learned to melt bodies together for warmth and power, so sooner or later, it will figure out that the permafrost has an end, and it will be able to escape. They're trapped on the wall in a massive pile of mold that has melted and died as a result of the cold, which is a reason why the group does not search for any survivors. To attempt to retrieve the elevator key from Grigoriev, Morozov puts on a final suit and enters the environment that is 200 degrees. Anna requests that Nikolai and Kuznetsov refrain from discussing this mold when they return to the surface. She explains that if they did so, it would encourage more people to investigate, which would put their lives in danger. Nikolai accepts the offer, but Kuznetsov hesitates to accept the offer despite his desire to make a significant discovery that would establish his reputation. Once Morozov has taken an excessive amount of time to return, Anna makes the decision to enter the hot area next without any protection, because in theory, the human body can survive there for a few minutes. Anna finds Morozov dead on the floor and learns that Grigoriev sabotaged the suit. At the same time, Anna is beginning to develop blisters on her body. As a result of the mold that is glowing on the walls, Anna grabs the elevator key from him and dashes back inside. Nikolai attempted to assist her, but Kuznetsov suddenly shot Nikolai in the leg and demanded that he be given the elevator key so that he could go out and get the fame that he deserved for discovery. Having given him the key, Kuznetsov then took the second elevator with both of them, holding them at gunpoint the entire time. Kuznetsov makes an effort to keep Anna behind so that he can enter the elevator by himself when they return to the resort level. There, they proceed to the first elevator corridor in order to investigate. However, a strange entity emerges from the shaft, suddenly attacking him. As the creature takes Kuznetsov's life, they continue to scream and remain alive. While Anna is attempting to escape, she takes cover in the mess hall. However, the creature continues to pursue her, so she quickly grabs a knife and goes into the freezer. During this time, she has an epiphany, which she removes the majority of her clothing and washes herself with a bucket of ice water. This causes her body temperature to drop to a point where the mold cannot infect her. Later, she crawls beneath the creature to get the elevator key from Kuznetsov, who has also been absorbed. Anna hastily exits the mess hall and locates Nikolai in order to get away together. She then locks the doors behind her. The creature, however, discovers them by breaking through the wall, and the two people flee until they reach the elevator. They are successful in pushing the doors shut just as the creature is attempting to enter the elevator. Sergei is also there with them, melting into the floor and begging them to do something as he coughs out spores. Nikolai and Anna can't wait to find out what happens next, because they have one last surprise in store for them. However, Nikolai does not want to die here, so he activates the elevator once more. Anna stops the elevator because she does not want to take the mold outside. When the two of them begin fighting over control of the elevator, and Nikolai is about to kill Anna, Sergei forces his body to make one last effort, which is when he raises his arm, then uses the exposed bone to kill Nikolai first, and finally, he dies. Before beginning her work on the elevator, Anna expresses her appreciation to Sergei by revealing that she is originally from Yugoslavia and by kissing him. Anna recalls that entering the incorrect code 3 times will cause it to crash, so she begins punching numbers. This proves to be more challenging than it sounds on account of the fact that she has also been infected, and her body has begun glowing, which causes her to feel worn out and in pain. The two initial attempts go slowly but successfully, but she barely manages to put in half of a fake code when the elevator finally makes it to the surface, and as a result, she has to fight against the grasp of the rescue team in order to punch in the final numbers. As Anna and the new team are leaving in a van, The elevator begins the sequence of self-destruction and then falls down. In the midst of being surrounded by soldiers, she seizes the opportunity to steal a grenade from them and exits the vehicle as soon as the van leaves the facility. Super D movie ends with more scientists arriving. Then Anna approaches the scientists to detonate the grenade, with the intention of mirroring the beginning of the story, and finally, Anna activates the grenade. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notification so you don't miss the latest recaps. Thanks for watching and wish you good health.